completely just relying and falling back on a company as your one source of income. If you are betting or if you are relying on one company as your only source of income, that is a recipe to go broke and to become a brokey. Today we're going to be talking about something that's pretty important, and again, no surprise to you or no surprise to me. Another foundational framework or structure that every person should know that school neglected to teach you about. Today, I will be kind of going over the 3 commandments of wealth, what they are, and how you are or aren't practicing those daily within your life. So the first commandment to wealth is thou shalt not have one stream of income. What's really interesting to me is that with this kind of general message given to people as the American dream, everyone is told to go through the education system, go through college, and then get one major to get into one job, and then you stay in that one job until you retire. Just by following that societal construct and just by following the American dream, you're already going against the first commandment of wealth by pigeonholing yourself to having only one stream of income. And the reason why that is very concerning is because you are completely just relying and falling back on a company as your one source of income. If you are betting or if you are relying on one company as your only source of income, that is a recipe to go broke and to become a brokey, especially at times right now. And this is exactly why I'm making this video right now, is because we are going into a recession. Some of the largest Fortune 500 companies in the entire world right now are laying off tens of thousands of employees. I mean, just think about Apple. Apple just tapered the production of the brand new iPhone 11 14 because they know that people don't have money to buy it. They've laid off 10,000 employees now that they're cutting back on manufacturing and pushing out their products and services. They don't need the amount of workers on payroll. So what do? They lay them all off. Amazon is doing the same thing. Think about this. Think about how concerning this should be for you guys. If you have one source of income, Amazon, the biggest e-commerce store in the world. Second thing, we're in Q4. What normally happens in Q4? The most money is exchanging between people or hands because of Christmas. It's very concerning that we're going into Q4, going into Christmas, the busiest time of the year for Amazon. Amazon still laid off 10,000 employees. During the busiest time of the year, Amazon still laid off 10,000 employees. What does that tell you? And so if you're one of those 10,000 people who went through the social construct of the American dream to just have one source of income, one job, one major, one degree, and you happen to be a manager or a project manager or whatever it may be at Amazon, and you're one of those 10,000 people that got laid off, well, you are now either a brokey or getting on your way to be that because you've lost your one source of income. The reason why that happened to that individual, and maybe possibly even you if you're watching this video, is because you broke the first commandment of wealth. Let's jump into the second commandment of wealth, and that is thou shalt not follow the crowd, ... Get in early. In our modern history, the most famous and probably wealthiest individual who did this was John D. Rockefeller. John D. Rockefeller noticed a new trend, and that was a way to light everyone's home with kerosene and oil. John D. Rockefeller became one of the richest people ever in American history by getting into oil early before everybody else. Cornelius Vanderbilt he was like the #1 tycoon, most wealthiest elite individual in the entire United States, even before Rockefeller, because he saw a trend, he saw the value in something that was very early, and that was railroads. He got into that early. And then if you look into even like more modern day, think of the 2 most famous and most wealthiest tycoons right now, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. What did they do? Elon Musk jumped into electric cars before anyone else. Look at what Chevy, Ford, Volvo, all these other car companies are doing. They're pushing out electric cars like crazy. Every single car commercial you see. Only day I watch TV is Sundays when I watch the Cowboys play. I'm sure you guys can see the Cowboys helmet. Actually, the star's kind of blacked off, but regardless. So the only time I ever see commercials is on Sundays. In the commercials, all I see is Chevy, BMW, Ford, commercials of them pushing out their new EV cars. They're too late. And this is why I say that. If everyone's talking about it and if everyone's doing it, you're already too late. Elon Musk took a brand new car company. Tesla Motors is the highest valued car manufacturer in the world, and they're the youngest, which is mind-blowing. Ford, the first car manufacturer. Tesla, the newest one. Tesla has such a higher value in terms of like if Ford or Tesla were going to sell today, Tesla would sell for so much more. And that's just because Elon Musk got into something before anybody else. And the same exact thing with SpaceX as well. The only people who went to space were governments. China, Russia, United States are governments. Elon Musk is the first private company to just start sending probes, satellites, and rockets into space and other planets like Mars and obviously the moon and all those types of things. And now look at Jeff Bezos with, I think it's called Blue Ribbon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called Blue Ribbon. Now he's starting to like go to space and stuff, but guess what? He's already too late. He's still early, and not everybody's doing it, but Elon is already so far ahead of him on that, it's like not even funny. Again, talking about Jeff Bezos, he was the first person to really take e-commerce seriously. Now, everybody does e-commerce. So, if everybody's doing it, or if everyone knows about it, you're already too late. Again, thou shalt not follow the crowd. Thou shalt be early. Be early. Think of new trends. Gary Vee is a perfect example of this. He is always early to stuff. Pretty sure the first year that YouTube went live, 2006, within the first like 2 months, and same thing with Casey Neistat. I'm sure a lot of you know Casey Neistat too. They're so early to everything. Gary Vee, the only person online making YouTube videos talking about wine, grew his father's wine business through the roof because of learning social media marketing at its very early baby stages before everybody else. Then he was very early. He started a social media marketing agency called VaynerX. And then under VaynerX is a bunch of other umbrella sister social media marketing agencies that focus on specific things. Like the Sasha Group is specifically for small businesses. Then there's Vayner Sports, and where they do marketing and they sign athletes and they help market athletes. Then there's Vayner Media, and Vayner Media is like a marketing agency for Pepsi and Adidas and like all these other huge, companies and stuff. And now look, everybody does social media marketing. Another thing he's early on to. Snapchat, super early investor in Snapchat, super early investor in Coinbase, super early investor in Twitter. All these things. Why is Gary Vee so much more successful and wealthy than everybody else? Because he follows the second rule of the 3 commandments of wealth, and that is, thou shalt not follow the crowd, thou shalt be early. Be aware of new trends. The only reason why NFTs are relevant is because Gary Vee was early to it and started telling everybody about it. Again, another example of him following that second commandment of wealth. The third commandment of wealth is, thou shalt not go into business with a low barrier of entry. Now, why do I say that? These are not just my opinions. These are just all things I've learned from 35, 40, 50 books behind me. I've read and all these other research videos, books, and everything like that, mentors that I have. I actually got these 3 commandments from Tai Lopez, mentor of mine. I'm sure you guys have seen Tai Lopez.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. It's fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills. But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge.
So the reason why you don't want to go into a business with a low barrier of entry is that means that everyone's going to be able to jump into that business too, and it's going to be oversaturated, and there's going to be too much competition. I have a bunch of other videos on this too. Also, I actually have my own school specifically for entrepreneurs or people who want to be an entrepreneur. If you have a skill, how to monetize that skill. If you don't have a skill, then I'll teach you an online business skill in which you can now use that skill to start making money online without having to clock in, right? It's like super hands-off, passive income type style stuff, right? That's not really like the main focus of this video. What I'm trying to tell you, if you're not yet making money, like good money, like $20,000 a month money, then what I would do is recommend trying to start an online business so that you can passively make 20K a month online. Again, if you don't have a skill, Rush University will teach you how to monetize that skill and how to make money on it. If you don't have a skill, which a lot of people don't, because none of the shit that they teach you in school teaches you how to make money online, which is crazy since we live in a digital world now. You would think that schools would teach you that stuff, but they don't, which is why Rush University does. So if you don't have a skill, that would teach you. And so once you start, getting into that, oh man, I'm making like 20K a month. All right, cool. Now you can start getting into like real businesses where there is a large barrier of entry. Yeah, I gotta drop like 40K to get into this. I have to put money in this and this, and I have to build this up and build this up and build this up and create a team and hire, all this stuff. Nobody else is gonna do that. Competition is gonna be extremely low. Very early in the game, right? Following that second commandment, there's less competition because nobody else is able to pass that barrier, right? Because think about, man, I forgot the actual name for this, but you know how like there's a castle and there'd be like a trench and then there'd be water and crocodiles and stuff in there so that you couldn't get past? That's that barrier of entry that I'm talking about. If no one can get past that, but you can, you're running over here with like the ladder bridge thing, you put it right over, you walk across, pick it back up and walk through. Everyone else is gonna look at you like, damn, must be nice, super lucky. But you have to get yourself to that point to move forward leaps and bounds and to really separate yourself from the general population to being that 1% rich. Then you do want to start getting into things that have a much higher barrier between, right? And so that just kind of is my conclusion on the third commandment of wealth. Now that you do know the 3 commandments of wealth, I do have some bad news for you though. Nothing in life and nothing in society teaches you these 3 commandments of wealth. If anything, they go completely against it. Now think about this, because on my channel, I do talk a lot about like escaping the matrix and all that type of stuff, right? And some people are super on board with that. They are aware of the world and they see the, quote unquote matrix, right? This like really blows me away because when you really sit back and look at these 3 commandments of wealth, you can clearly see, I gave you a bunch of examples of very wealthy, well-known people who follow these exact 3 things, and they're part of the 1% and they follow it. Nothing in life or society teaches you these 3 things. If anything, they push you the opposite way against it. Like I said, the first commandment, thou shalt not have one stream of income. The American dream, school, 1 degree, 1 major, 1 job. You're breaking the first rule, which is why you're part of the 99% and not the 1%. The second thing, getting into things early. Cornelius Vanderbilt, like John D. Rockefeller, like Elon Musk, like Jeff Bezos. Guess what? Society, if you jump into something way early before everybody else, what does the general population say? It's a scam. It's risky. It's this. No, it's not a scam. You don't know what you don't know. You've done no research on it. The only thing you've heard about this thing, whatever it may be at the time, is just random noise that you hear from other side conversations or random headlines on the news or whatever it may be. 99% of the people have never actually sat down, done 20 hours of their own due diligence researching that specific thing, which is why it's very easy for them just to subconsciously in their mind be like, oh, I have no idea what that's about, but it sounds too good to be true, or it's very early, so I don't trust it, so it's a scam. But for the individuals who do actually dedicate the time, Gary Vee always says this, if you don't know about something, spend 20 hours researching it and you'll be pretty much an expert on it. People will give him backlash or press him about crypto or NFTs and stuff. And I love that he does this. He's just like, have you sat down and done 20 hours worth of research on this? And they're like, no. And he's like, okay, shut the fuck up. I'm not having this conversation with you because there's no point because you're not educated on it. So that's what I'm saying. Everything that we do, go to school, go to college, have a job, the way that we learn, the way that, things are told to us by our parents, everything is against the 3 commandments of wealth, which is very weird and concerning, but that is exactly why there's a 99% and there's a 1%. So ask yourself this: which side of that do you want to be on?